Hey everybody, I'm glad you can join me. My name's Jerry. Today we're going to talk about the single plane swing. Now it's been a while since I made a video, but I had someone on my golf channel ask a question. They wanted to know, do you have a video or can you make a video about the setup of the single plane swing? I get the concept, but I can't see how they always say line up your right arm down the shaft. And this is actually a very common question. A lot of people don't understand. There's a misconception, you know. So in front of us we got two different people. On the left is Todd Graves, also affectionately known as Little Mo. He spent a lot of years with Mo Norman. They became good friends, and of course Todd learned the single plane swing from Mo Norman. And on the right, if you don't know who that guy is, that's the world #1 golfer, ranked world #1 right now, been for a while, Dustin Johnson. So these are the two players, two swingers, two golfers we're going to make a comparison with. So starting on the left with Todd Graves here, you'll notice two red dots. One is down on his hand where the shaft enters his hand, basically where he's pinching the shaft between his thumb and his index finger, right? And the other red dot further up the arm is basically on the elbow. Okay? And you'll notice the same thing on Dustin Johnson. But sticking with Todd Graves on the left for the moment, you'll notice that all we do is connect those two red dots with a line, and then we extend it through the back. That's why you have a big line. We just connect the two dots with a line and extend it right through Todd's back. Okay? So the misconception here is that, people say, well, that arm is not in alignment with the shaft. And I get it, because sometimes people don't qualify their statements. And Todd probably has a gazillion times, but sometimes, it just happens. People hear something that they might only hear part of a video or whatever. But what a lot of people think is, when they hear that, is, well, there's not a line from his shoulder down to his hand and then in a perfect alignment with the shaft. That's what they expect to see, right? When they hear that the trail arm, in this case Todd's right arm, it's not in alignment with that shaft from the shoulder all the way down to the club head. And that's the big misconception. You only want from your hand up to your elbow, in other words, your forearm, to be in alignment with the shaft. So your trail arm, because there's lefties that are watching this video too, but your trail arm, for Todd Graves, that'd be his right arm, from his elbow down to his hand is in alignment with that shaft, right? You can clearly see it's perfectly in line with that shaft. Now let's look over at Dustin Johnson. I did the same thing. I just drew a red line on where the club meets his part of his hand, where he pinches the club between his thumb and his finger, index finger, and then I drew a red dot on his elbow, just like I did with Todd. But the difference here is, if we extend that line up through Dustin Johnson's back and then extend it, in this case, all the way down to the ground, you'll notice that line doesn't line up with the shaft, does it? Now with Todd, I didn't have to extend the line down to the ground because the shaft is the line, right? I just stopped it at his hand. But with Dustin Johnson, to make the point here, so that we can see the big difference when we compare these two swings, Todd Graves on the left, single plane, Dustin Johnson on the right, two plane. Clearly the line on Dustin Johnson from his elbow to his hand or down his forearm is not in alignment with the shaft, right? It's not on the same plane. Right? Those two lines do not connect. The shaft and the yellow line don't connect. Right? They don't line up perfectly, in other words. They're at different angles. With Todd Graves, if I didn't extend the yellow line down to the ground, but if I did, it would just go right down to the club head, right? It would go right along that shaft perfectly. So that's what Todd Graves and other single planers are talking about. Okay? Hold on a second. We're in Texas. It's bug season. I don't think I got him. Was a gnat. So that's what we're talking about. Okay? So Todd on the left, you're in a single plane. I'm a single plane swinger. The single plane swing is awesome. So you want a little tension. Now that let's just kind of change the subject matter here just a little bit. Now that you know what the right arm being in alignment with the shaft means, it's really just a forearm from the elbow down to the hand. Don't worry about from the shoulder to the elbow. You're never going to get that in alignment with the shaft. Don't sweat it. Just get your elbow down to your hand in alignment with the shaft. And I really highly recommend run some video, man, in your backyard, at the range. I do it all the time. I don't care what people think. I put the camera back there. If you have an iPhone, whatever it is, run video. Okay, high quality camera is better if you can afford it. Get a stand. They're cheap on eBay. Get a little tripod stand. Put the camera behind you and run the video. Then you can come home and I just did this in Paint. This picture just come from Paint. Your Windows has Paint. A little application called Paint. You can check it out for yourself. You can see what you're doing, right? Make assessments of your swing and make changes that are necessary to make you a better single planer. So changing the subject matter here a little bit, for me, I put a little tension, and Todd talked about this in one of his videos because I asked him about it. He definitely has a little tension that runs down his arms and up to his shoulders a little bit, and a little bit of tension in his wrists and his hands. Not like the death grip, but there's a little tension there. You can't be all too loosey-goosey. Got to have a little tension. That's going to, oh my gosh, when I did that, and I noticed that Bryson DeChambeau was doing that. He's a single planer. A little bit different than Mo Norman, but similar enough to we can talk about it and include it in the context of this video, right? He does it too. He hovers his club, his driver particularly, a little bit off the ground. He doesn't always do it, but he does it sometimes. And that'll put a little tension into your arms. And trust me, it makes a huge difference. I picked up 10 yards just hovering the club off the ground, a little tension. And straight. What I notice about the single plane swing is the ball will either go dead straight or pull a little. For me. And I know it happens to Todd Graves too a little bit. He either hits a dead straight or a little bit of a pull. If it does go right, it's usually a push right. You almost never see a slice. You almost never see a slice or a fade unless Todd is intensely trying to do that because he's capable of doing that too. But his natural swing is either dead straight or a slight pull. But he bombs it. Todd Graves hits his ball anywhere from about 270 to probably 290. And sometimes further, depending on what type of condition the golf course is in. But I've seen him regularly hit the ball over 270, 280. And Todd's got to be in his mid 40s. I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be at least in his mid 40s, probably almost 50 years old, somewhere around there. And he's hitting at 280, guys. So it's a testament to the single plane swing. You can hit the ball a long way, guys. Don't let anybody ever tell you single plane swing doesn't go a long way. That's baloney. And the accuracy is well worth it. So I hope that explains how the right arm gets in alignment with the shaft. It's just the forearm from the elbow down to the tip of your hand where you grip the club. Okay, it's not the upper part of the arm. Okay, I'm going to probably come out with another video here, single plane swing, but I'm going to mix in something called the Juju swing. I've just been tinkering around with the Juju swing. If for those of you who don't know about the Juju swing, you can look it up on YouTube. Okay, the guy's name is Brad, former long distance driver, and he still bombs it. Oh my God, he played a round of golf a couple weeks back, maybe a month ago, and his drives regularly were 350, 340, 350, 360, right in this range. He was bombing his drives, and I think he shot maybe 6 or 7 under on a pretty tough golf course, guys. I mean, a high slope rated golf course, not some little rinky dink golf course. I think it was like 7,300 yard golf course. From the tips he played, probably a little longer, 7,350. Okay, long course. And I think he shot 6 or 7 under. And the guy, however, plays golf. It just goes to show you that you never know. There's so many great golfers out there. Anyway, I've been tinkering around with the single plane swing, mixing the Juju swing, and I've been getting some really good lag with it. But I'm just not consistent yet. So if I get a chance to get out to the range, now that we're in summertime, I'll run some video on it, and we'll just see what happens. I'm hoping to bomb some. You know how it is. We all love to bomb the golf ball, right? Bomb the doggone thing. I love the single plane swing. I love what Todd Graves and his brother are doing. Tim Graves is Todd's brother, by the way. I think it's Oklahoma State, the PGA Professionals champion from last year or 2 years ago. He won the tournament or something like that. Really, they're both really good golfers, man. These guys can play some golf. So anyway, I hope that answers the question. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Make sure you click the notification bell so you get videos as I put them out. I'm going to try to do some videos through the summer here. And make sure you give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps out the YouTube channel. And I'll talk to y'all soon. next time.